J. Thomas radio gives you the Bondi. Once upon a January dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of legal chore. While I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping about Epstein law. "'Tis Massey," I muttered. Rapping about Epstein law, only this and nothing more. Distinctly I remember it was just last December that each separate dying ember of 2020 fraud of November lay upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow. Vainly I had sought to borrow Epstein files from my large Epstein drawer and give them to influencers at the White House, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each golden curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now to still the beating of my heart I stood repeating, "'Tis some nobody yelling do something at my D.O.J. door. Some nobody at the entrance at my D.O.J. door, they knew this it is and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I. "Oh, madame, truly your forgiveness I implore. I was on Fox, yapping, just when you came a-rapping, and so loudly you came tapping at my D.O.J. door, that I will pretend to ignore you." And I opened wide the door. I see darkness there and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, ignoring broken laws no mortal has ever ignored before. But the silence was unbroken, so I went back on Fox as a token. And the only word there spoken was the whispered word, Minnesota. This I whispered, and an echo screamed back the word, Minnesota. But I do nothing, not one iota, back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard a banging somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something outside my window lattice. Let me see then what the threat is and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment and this mystery explore. 'Tis the voters and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter when with many a flirt and flutter in there stepped a MAGA voter of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady perched inside my D.O.J. door. Then he did grab his phallus just inside my D.O.J. door, grabbed it and yelled, "Minnesota," and nothing more.
Yeah, Minnesota. That's one. That's one. Whew, that's a long opening. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do volume 2 of the Bondi files. You know, I mean, okay. All right. I watched as much as I could of the press conference today. But Trump got out there, and it went on for 2 hours. I can't watch for 2 hours. I just can't. I got other things I have to do. I was going to have Cece watch it, but she said no. I don't have anybody else. It's just me and her. That's it. So, anyway, I'm sorry, but there's nothing much more happening. They say they've arrested 10,000 people in Minnesota. Okay, where are they? What happened to them? Are they being sent out of the country? Have you arrested any of the Somalis who are basically stealing $12, $14 billion a year and shipping it out of the country in suitcases through the airport? Anybody got anything on that? Miss Bondi? cash. They're taking $700,000, $1 million out at a time, and they're doing it legally because they're, I don't know, I guess they're Somali princes or some crap like that. But that's what they're doing, and there's nothing there. Let me just run down a list. Okay, the J6 defendants, little old ladies, little old men who walked through the Capitol or walked by the Capitol, were arrested by the FBI. They were taken in front of judges from the Circuit Court of D.C. and given felony convictions for misdemeanor. If walking by the Capitol is a misdemeanor, really, is just walking by it, these judges that they have in D.C. have to be taken out. There should be no federal criminal justice or circuit court in D.C. You know why? Who are they going to protect? They're going to protect Democrats. They're all Democrats. They're going to protect Democrats. They're going to protect the politicians. So the politicians break a law, and what? They go to D.C., the court in D.C., their friends that live right down the street from them, and they go, hey, you know, you going to put me in jail or what? Come on. Yeah, we got a barbecue Saturday. There should be no circuit court in D.C. It should be all sent on the outskirts of the other courts, the other circuits. And where should these circuits be? Well, in the middle of the country, hopefully. But why are there? There's that. Okay, what happened to them? What happened to getting rid of those people? Getting rid of the people that did this? How about the 51 CIA and intelligence officers that blocked anything happening for Hunter? Hunter Biden hasn't paid anything for the crimes he committed: drug crimes, gun crimes, tax crimes, sex trafficking crimes. Nothing. He did nothing. He diddled his niece. He got his niece, apparently, on, this is how I understand it, got his niece, his dead brother's daughter, Biden's granddaughter, underage, on drugs, and was messing around with her. So, nothing there. We don't know anything that's inside the laptop because, of course, we can't look at it. We're just rubes. Why don't they take, okay, here's what's on his laptop and release everything? Screw the Epstein file. How about release the Hunter Biden laptop files? How about that? How about L.A.? How about New York City? How about this Mandani character? He says he's going to arrest any of these guys who say they're going to arrest federal agents have to be arrested. What are you waiting for? Nothing is happening. Here it is. Breitbart. Let me go to the Breitbart again. Let's see what Breitbart is doing. Okay, DOJ subpoenas Walz, Ellison, Frey, and other Minnesota Democrats. Woo. Nothing's going to come of that. They subpoenaed them for what? Federal prosecutors subpoenas Tuesday for at least 5 Democrats in Minnesota. The investigation is supercharged. Anytime I hear Breitbart say the word like supercharged, it's going forward or doing this. You know what it reminds me of? Sean Hannity and TikTok, and nothing happened. I just want, and now it's just, like I said, the Greenland thing is just pissing me off even more. You know why? I want to finish what we started in this country. I want to finish the Minnesota, L.A., New York, Detroit, Chicago. I want to finish those cities, going in there and emptying the illegal aliens out of there, getting the drug dealers, getting the cartel members, getting everybody out, putting the Somalis in jail, deporting the rest of them. I want to look at Ilian Omar. I want to look at her. Is it Ilihan? At Omar, female dog. Happy? Okay, I want to look at her all of a sudden being worth $30 million. I want to dig into, what about Bernie? Why does Bernie get away with having 3 houses? What is Bernie doing? What's he investing in? I know he sold books, but no one read them. That's the old congressman writes a book, and the labor unions buy the book and pass it out for free. Stuff like that. I mean, it's all. We have a big problem. Doge, Elon Musk and Doge pointed it out. And what's happening with that? I mean, I got a lot of questions. I have a list of questions. They're around here somewhere. I just kept writing them down last night. Oh, that's not them. I was just writing them down. And it's just, of course, I forget where I put it. But I'll get it. What has happened to all this stuff? Yeah, 5 Democrats are subpoenaed. The entire Democrat Party needs to be subpoenaed. And it's not going to get any better. Pam Bondi is not doing the job she was assigned to do. And we've already had, attorney generals that turned out to be nothing. And now, I heard it. I don't know if it's true. They want to replace Pam Bondi with Trey Gowdy. Really? He's going to send a mean letter? I don't think he ever did anything like that. Hold on. So, okay. So we have a press conference where Trump came out and he had all these pictures of people and he's going through them and he's telling these people, look, here's the people we're getting out. Okay, that's fine. You didn't need to go through all those pictures. You need 4 or 5 pictures, put them up there, say these are the type of people that we are getting out of Minnesota. Here's the top one, second one, third one. You know what? And you could go on for 20 minutes and that should have been it. But no, he went off onto Greenland and oil and everything else, and I know that's 2 hours. It's 2 hours. And I know that they're asking him questions. Well, he's gonna stay and answer them. That's just the type of guy he is. But he has to get this thing in Minnesota under control. And he's not. Because, they're just out this is going to go to every section where illegals are. You're going to have these find out who's funding this. He was on the right track. Soros and China and money coming back from Somali. I guarantee you the Somalis in Somalia are sending money back to pay these people to get in the way of the ice to make a big stink in these ice raids. That's who's doing it. I can figure that out, and yet it moves slower than molasses. And I know what they're going to say. They're going to say, "Well, that's what it takes for to do it right in legal terms. That's what it takes." Well, it didn't take them very long to start hunting down the grandmas and grandpas in the J6 fiasco. Did it? Didn't take very long, and they arrested them. They dragged them back to D.C. where they shouldn't have a court. And they did it with the people in the DOJ who are leftists. And how'd they get into the DOJ? Obama. And what happened to the Strzok and all the other a-holes from 2016? He's back, and he can, he's back in good graces with the DOJ or with the FBI. He's getting his pension. They couldn't even take his pension away for pulling that nonsense. And you expect us to sit here and go, oh yeah, 2 hours, 2 hour press conference that makes up for it. That's it. How about Pam Bondi out there actually answering some questions? And she has to ask some questions about screwing up the Epstein file. She should have said, yeah, that's all I really had. I screwed up. Because the Epstein files is nothing. That's nothing. The Epstein files is garbage next to what's going on. Are you freaking kidding me? Epstein, and I did the deep dive on the Epstein thing, and what I found out, and what you'll find out, was that Epstein and Maxwell got girls to do Epstein and Maxwell. That's basically what you'll find out. Yeah, there are a couple people here and there. It's not this big ring. It's not this big ring. What's going on in Minnesota and with the cartels in Mexico and everything else, the cartels are connected to Venezuela, which is connected to Iran, China, and Russia through the Mexican cartels. The drugs coming up through the country into Chicago, into Minneapolis. Minneapolis is a major drug smuggling hub. It goes up through Houston, Minneapolis, Chicago. It's well known, and it's all out there. They all know it. They have evidence. So why don't we put Greenland on the back burner there, President Trump, and why don't you finish what you started here? Finish every one of those cities: L.A., Chicago, Minneapolis, New York, was it Charlotte? Every one of them. Start finishing what you start and have short, dynamic press conferences, not 2-hour press conferences, because I'm not going to watch that. I'm not going to watch it, and I like you. I love you, man, but I'm not going to watch 2 hours. So, here we are again. We're right back to Minneapolis, and nothing's happening. The five subpoenas. So what? Till I see him frog marched out of there in handcuffs for interfering with federal law enforcement. I am not wowed. Let's put it like that. All right, we're still getting to some stuff. I don't know. I'm pissed. I am pissed off. I am pissed off that it's this long. It's been a year. We should have some rock solid accomplishments and I know there are. I'm talking about the accomplishments against the Democrats who are using this as a money laundering scheme, and also they want the votes. If you don't get the SAVE Act, that's another thing. The SAVE Act. What's going on with that? That Thune, that bastard. Those GOP sons of bitches, they're just as bad. They're worse than the Democrats. And this has to stop. If you have to get rid of them, get rid of them. I'm just done. This country is not going to survive if these assholes take over on the 26th midterms. You know that. You realize that? And you can't have a 2-hour press conference You have to start being sharp, short, and sweet. All right. We'll be back. We're doing other things. We might have our telephone lines up. So I'm frustrated. It's frustrating. Frustrating. How long to ignore the ocean of corrupt politicians that we have? How long?